Elliott Wolf, who's the de facto GM of the New England Patriots. You know, Belichick did this for so long. Belichick's been, well, mutually parted ways with. Elliott Wolf has assumed the role of the GM without the title, which, according to a lot of people that report on the Patriots and everything, he'll get the title or something similar to it after the draft, where they're going to perform a personnel search of sorts, only to basically come back to him. Which it is what it is. That's fine. I don't really care about that part of it. But with Elliott Wolf now being, I guess, the loudest voice, I should say, at the top, want to see the approach to free agency, the approach to the draft. The draft is coming up in, I believe, about a month at this point. I think so. Yeah. But free agency is in the tampering stage now, legal tampering. Then Monday is like the unofficial start of free agency, with Wednesday being the official start of free agency. For the past few years, the Patriots are usually pretty quiet at this point, where there's a lot of rumors about guys they would target, but we wouldn't really hear any agreement to this point because they kind of let the first wave go through, where a lot of guys might get overvalued. Therefore, teams pay a little bit more than the Patriots were willing to kind of extend themselves. But coming into this season with like almost $100 million in cap space, they got to spend it somewhere, right? And with all of the kind of the messages coming from Wolf or Mayo or just this new regime of collaboration, things are going to look different, right? And we kind of got a first glimpse at what that necessarily looks like, because the Patriots actually reached agreements with a couple of players. So this is, I think it's Chikwema Okorafor. If I butcher the name, that's my bad. But he is a 26-year-old old lineman who was with the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. Now, things seem to go sideways with him. Didn't really like, was a little, displeased with Matt Canada and like the offensive philosophy, led to him being benched for rookie Broderick Jones. Then the Steelers made him available. So coming into the Patriots, he's a right tackle, which tackle is a need for the Patriots. I don't think this means he's going to be the starting right tackle, but he'll be in a rotation with, whether it's Onwenu, who's still a free agent, that I'm interested to see if the Patriots can bring him back. I think that would be a great signing. But of course, it's going to depend on what his price tag is on the open market. But looking at Van Pelt, his offense, kind of the Browns' way of things, the Browns would occasionally use a sixth offensive lineman for, extra blocking on running plays. So maybe that's where Okorafor comes in. He'll be that sixth lineman that we'll see on the field periodically, every week. But it addresses a need, because the offensive line, you kind of just need to throw bodies at it to get your starting line. You also need depth, because even if he's in a tackle rotation with, like I said, Onwenu, whoever they sign as left tackle, I mean, there's some reports that they're talking to Tyron Smith, which if they were able to get Tyron Smith and Onwenu in free agency, you kind of set at tackle. Now that affects your draft strategy, where it's, tackle deep in the draft, but now maybe you can wait second round to draft a guy, maybe even the third round to draft one, and then have them kind of learn from Tyron Smith or whatever. So it creates options in the draft. But like I said, it's a signing that addresses a need. Have no problem with it. He seems like a guy who can play. It's just that he and Pittsburgh just weren't seeing eye to eye. So I'm interested to see how he fits with Van Pelt, and the new Patriots offense. Now, does this also possibly lead us to further assuming that pick 3 is going to be a quarterback? Because if they're going to address the old line in free agency, like I said, that takes that need away necessarily in the first round. If that makes sense. But yeah, so core 4, first bit of news. Then Hunter Henry is coming back. The reports are it's a 3-year deal, I think like $9 million a year. Now, this is a team before the Hunter Henry re-signing didn't have a tight end on the roster. And as we know, once again, the Patriots philosophy use tight ends. If you watch Cleveland play, they had a pretty good tight end out there, David Njoku, that they used a lot. So they're obviously going to get a tight end. Now, the fact that they were able to sign Hunter Henry, who, looking at the tight end market, wasn't that great. It was basically he and Dalton Schultz as your top options, and Dalton Schultz went back to Houston, I believe. So Hunter Henry was technically the best tight end on the market, and the Patriots re-signed him. So once again, looking at possible ideas for the number 3 pick, they've signed a lineman and a tight end in free agency so far. Obviously, they're not done with free agency, but if you're going to have a young quarterback back there, what are 2 things they're going to need? Offensive line, and a tight end is a young quarterback's best friend. So like I said, these signings probably let us know that number 3 is going to be a quarterback. Now, the question is going to be obviously who will be there for them. I'll probably say that for another video where I might talk about the quarterbacks at the top, how they kind of rate out or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. But there was some other news as well from Elliott Wolf. The transition tag being used on Kyle Duggar, which I think makes a lot of sense. It's not the tag that gets used a lot, so it can be a little confusing with the franchise tag and transition tag. So basically, really quickly, franchise tag, there's 2 types: exclusive, non-exclusive. If you have the exclusive tag, you're basically dealing with them to either play under the 1-year deal, which is okay. So the biggest difference is franchise tag takes the top 5 players at that position, averages their salary. Transition tag takes the top 10 and averages their salary. So transition tag will always be at a lower number than the franchise tag. Transition tag, if the player were to go somewhere else, because they get to basically sign an offer sheet, and then your current team gets to either match it or kind of let you go. If they let you go, no compensation in terms of draft picks. With the franchise tag, if you were to sign somewhere else and the team allows you to go, they get 2 first-round picks from the other team back. It's kind of like the surface level differences. There's little nuances after that, but it is what it is. So they also use a transition tag on Kyle Duggar, which for safeties, if it was the franchise tag, would be a little over $17 million, but the transition tag, it's a little under $13 million. So business sense, it makes sense that way. So basically, Kyle Duggar can kind of see what his market is and then come back to the Patriots, and then the Patriots have the right of first refusal. So it looks like Kyle Duggar will probably be back, hopefully on a agreed upon multi-year deal. But we'll see. So like I said, let me know in the comment section, what do you think about kind of the look of the Patriots so far, the new regime? You're loving it. You still want to see them do other things. Oh, I think there's also the news that they have extended a contract offer to Kendrick Bourne, which I feel like that's going to get done. The two sides agreeing. I think Kendrick Bourne said he's going to test the market just to maybe see his value out there. But it seems like Bourne wants to be in New England, and I think the Patriots want him back. So, I mean, look, if all these things happen and you bring Duggar back for that defense, if they can re-sign Onwenu for the offensive line, they brought in Hunter Henry, if they can bring back Kendrick Bourne, you've hit some needs in free agency, which now open things up a little bit for your draft picks. Like I said, quarterback could be your first round. Second round, you could maybe draft one of these wide receivers that are just burners out there to pair with a Bourne if he comes back, with Demario Douglas, who had a pretty decent season last year. I don't know. For some reason, the Elliott Wolf regime has me a bit excited for how things are going to operate in New England. Once again, that's not like a shot at Belichick, because look, for what Belichick did, I'll always celebrate the success he brought to New England. But now we're going to see it run a little differently. And like I said, the next stop on the NFL calendar is, free agency, then the draft. A lot of drafts with Belichick, they would take a guy in the first or whatever round, and the analysts would be like, well, that's a guy that could have gotten later or something like that. Will this new group now take players that a lot of analysts will be like, yeah, that's the guy I would have taken there? Who knows? We'll see. We could get to the draft, number 3 picks on the board. They trade back, and some fans might look at it as it's just the Belichick way all over again. But yeah, like I said, let me know what you think about re-signing Hunter Henry, bringing in Okorafor, the transition on Duggar, extending the contract to Kendrick Bourne, Onwenu, whatever it is, let me know down in the comment section. Would really appreciate it. Like I said, I'll probably do a video. I might do a couple of mock draft videos leading up to the draft. We'll see, but there's definitely be some more Patriots news, at least hopefully, as we get into the start of free agency. But thanks again for clicking on the video. Greatly appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow, all that good stuff. Would really appreciate that. But enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. God bless. And I'll see you in the next video. All right.